The Young and the Restless spoilers YNR Daily Scoop, Birthday Mayhem, the shadow of Aristotle Dumas and the rise of Ashland in the neon-lit chaos of Genoa City, where secrets and vendettas form the lifeblood of its inhabitants. A birthday celebration for Nikki was poised to become a battleground of treachery and violence. The party, anticipated by many and loathed by a few, was shrouded in an ominous warning. Aristotle Dumas, a name that sent shivers down the spine of even the most hardened residents, was determined to sabotage the festivities. His very presence was enough to strike terror into the hearts of those who dared cross the line between loyalty and betrayal. The premonition of destruction. The air buzzed with excitement and apprehension as Nikki's birthday bash was meticulously prepared. Invitations had been sent far and wide, promising an evening of glamour, indulgence, and unexpected surprises. Yet behind the sparkling decor and carefully curated music, a dark plan was unfolding. Aristotle Dumas, a man whose reputation was synonymous with danger, had set his sights on this very event. Known for his cunning and ruthlessness, he was an enigma, a ghost from the past whose motives were as murky as the secrets he guarded. Victor Newman, a titan of power and influence in Genoa City, was among the few who understood the full extent of the threat. His deep-seated fear of Aristotle was well known, and for good reason. It was whispered in the corridors of power that Aristotle's vendetta extended far beyond petty grievances. Now, he had a new target, the joyous celebration of Nikki, a symbol of a life unburdened by the dark history that plagued so many in the city. A fortress of protection aware of the impending danger, Victor spared no expense in fortifying the venue. A battalion of security personnel was deployed, and law enforcement was stationed at every possible entry point. Surveillance cameras scanned the crowd, and the atmosphere inside the opulent ballroom was thick with tension. Every guest, adorned in elegant attire, was keenly aware that beneath the glittering surface lurked the potential for disaster. The party, meant to be a jubilant escape, had transformed into a fortress designed to thwart a predatory force. Yet, even the best-laid defenses were not impervious. Despite the heavy security, Aristotle Dumas managed to infiltrate the gathering. His presence was like a dark stain on the otherwise brilliant canvas of celebration. Blending into the crowd with a calculated ease, he moved like a shadow, a harbinger of chaos waiting for the moment to strike. The unraveling of loyalties as the night progressed and the music pulsed through the room, the tension became almost palpable. Rumors began to circulate among the guests. Who was this mysterious interloper? And why had he chosen Nikki's party as his stage for retribution? The answer lay hidden in the tangled web of personal vendettas and long-held grudges. The city's gossip mill quickly pointed to one name, Ashland. Unlike the overt threats posed by Aristotle Dumas, Ashland's approach was more insidious, fueled by a burning desire for revenge. For years, he had harbored a deep-seated hatred for Victoria, once a cherished ally, now a symbol of betrayal. Whispers in the dark suggested that it was Victoria's ex-husband who had orchestrated much of the chaos in the past. But behind the mask of retribution, it was Ashland who had been the mastermind of his own torment. He was determined to obliterate everything that stood in the way of his vendetta, and tonight, he saw the perfect opportunity to do so. The potential victim, a dire warning as the night wore on, the threat grew more imminent. Among the unsuspecting guests, one name echoed with particular dread, Victoria. Known for her tumultuous history with the Newman family and her own personal demons, Victoria had become a magnet for danger. The very idea that she might fall victim to another of the city's many power plays set shudders through the hearts of those who knew her story. For Ashland, Victoria represented the culmination of years of betrayal, a target whose destruction would serve as a final act of vengeance. J.T. Hellstrom, too, had a reputation stained with violence and misfortune. Once a trusted figure in the community, his past was marred by brutal attacks and near-fatal encounters that had left him with scars both physical and emotional. Yet, it was not J.T. who now commanded the spotlight, it was Ashland, a man whose calculated cruelty had long been hidden beneath a veneer of quiet determination. The unfolding catastrophe as the clock ticked towards the climax of the evening, the tension in the ballroom reached a fever pitch. Guests exchanged nervous glances, the murmur of conversation turning into anxious whispers. Every sound, every shadow, hinted at the possibility of disaster. The air was charged with anticipation and fear. Then, as if in perfect sync with the crescendo of the music, the unthinkable happened. A sudden, violent disturbance rippled through the crowd. Panic ensued as guests scrambled for cover, their elegant attire disheveled in the chaos. Amid the confusion, it became clear that Aristotle Dumas had not come merely to observe, he had come to wreak havoc. In the midst of the uproar, all eyes turned to a figure moving swiftly toward Victoria. The impact of the moment was almost cinematic, a convergence of fate and fury as Ashland's presence loomed large. With every step he took, it was as though he was rewriting the dark history between him and Victoria, determined to erase the betrayal that had fueled his anger for so long. The final confrontation within the frenzied crowd, Victoria stood as a lone figure, her eyes wide with shock, yet her posture exuding a quiet strength born of a lifetime of struggle. As Ashland closed the distance, the tension between them was palpable. For Ashland, this was the moment of reckoning, a chance to settle an old score that had haunted him for years. For Victoria, it was a test of resilience, a moment to confront the demons of her past head-on. Before violence could fully erupt, however, a chilling realization gripped the room. The chaos was not merely the work of a lone madman. The presence of Aristotle Dumas had been a ruse, a carefully orchestrated distraction designed to obscure the true mastermind behind the attack. As security forces moved in to contain the situation, murmurs began to surface among the guests. Had anyone truly been prepared for the possibility that Ashland, not Aristotle, was the one whose hatred would manifest tonight? In that suspended moment, with the lines between friend and foe blurred by betrayal and deception, the true face of vendetta emerged. Ashland, with his eyes burning with a fury that belied the cool precision of his actions, revealed himself as the architect of the mayhem. His vendetta against Victoria was not a random act of cruelty, it was a meticulously planned coup aimed at obliterating the remnants of a relationship gone sour and exacting a debt of honor long overdue. Aftermath: the shattered illusion in the wake of the melee, as emergency responders and law enforcement swept through the hall, the devastation was evident. The once glittering ballroom lay in disarray, tables overturned, decorations scattered, and the air thick with the residue of fear and confusion. Amid the wreckage, the repercussions of the night's events rippled through Genoa City, leaving behind questions that demanded answers. Who exactly was Aristotle Dumas, and why had he been used as a diversion? How deep did Ashland's betrayal of Victoria run, and what hidden alliances or enmities had fueled his quest for vengeance? The truth was as elusive as it was essential, a puzzle that the city's most determined investigators would spend countless hours piecing together. For Victoria, the attack was a stark reminder that in a world rife with betrayal, no one was ever truly safe. The ghosts of her past had come back to haunt her, and the scars of that night would serve as a constant reminder of the cost of trust misplaced. Meanwhile, for Ashland, the night's events were both a triumph and a curse, a moment of vindication that came at the price of irrevocable damage to the fragile balance of power in Genoa City. Epilogue: shadows and promises. As dawn broke over Genoa City, its skyline a mix of hope and decay, the survivors of Nikki's ill-fated birthday party faced an uncertain future. The elaborate defenses that had been set in place, the layers of protection and vigilance, had all been in vain against the cunning of a man driven by personal vendetta. And while the name Aristotle Dumas would continue to send shivers down the spines of the city's elite, it was Ashland's shadow that now loomed largest, a reminder that in the intricate dance of loyalty and betrayal, even the most well-prepared could fall prey to the unexpected. In the days that followed, as investigators combed through evidence and witnesses recounted their harrowing experiences, one thing was clear: the events of that night had irrevocably altered the fabric of Genoa City. Alliances would be shattered, and new loyalties would be forged in the crucible of chaos. For those who dared to love, to trust, and to hope, the path forward was fraught with peril, but also filled with the promise of redemption, however elusive it might seem. End of YNR Daily Scoop. Birthday Mayhem Special Report. This narrative captures the intense drama of Nikki's birthday party, the strategic intrusion by Aristotle Dumas, and the explosive reveal of Ashland as the true mastermind behind the attack on Victoria. It explores the themes of betrayal, revenge, and the shifting alliances that define life in Genoa City, painting a vivid picture of a night when every moment teetered on the brink of disaster. YN Our Daily Scoop, a night of blood and vengeance, Victor's fury and the race to save Victoria. The glittering veneer of Nikki Newman's birthday celebration shattered in an instant when a single gunshot rang out, echoing through the grand ballroom of the Chancellor Estate. Laughter and music halted mid-note, glasses froze halfway to lips, guests stared in horrified disbelief as Victoria collapsed to the floor, clutching her abdomen. In that split second, the elegant party transformed into a scene of panic and chaos. One that would redefine the lives of everyone present. 1. Chaos erupts. Nate's heroic response as the shot reverberated. Nate Hastings, who had been mingling near the dessert table, sprang into action. His medical training kicked in instinctively. Ignoring the shrieks and the scramble for cover, he dropped to his knees beside Victoria, pressing firmly on the wound to stem the bleeding. Nate, whispering urgently, "Victoria, stay with me. You're going to be okay." Keep pressure on the wound. The guests recoiled in shock as Nate's steady hands worked to stabilize her. A makeshift tourniquet was fashioned from a napkin, and he called for someone to fetch towels and ice. Minutes felt like hours as he fought to save her life, every second critical. Miraculously, his quick thinking paid off. Though the bullet had torn through muscle and tissue, Nate's immediate first aid prevented catastrophic blood loss. By the time paramedics arrived, scrambling past stunned police and security, Victoria's condition had been stabilized enough for transport. "Paramedic, to Nate, you saved her life. We've got her from here." As Victoria was lifted onto a stretcher, her pale face reflected both fear and relief. Nikki, who had witnessed the entire ordeal, dropped to her knees, tears streaming down her cheeks. Nikki, sobbing, "Oh, my baby girl, please, God, let her live." 2. The police and security, powerless to act in the immediate aftermath, the ballroom became a tableau of frozen panic. Security guards, heavily armed and stationed at every entrance, fanned out, but the shooter had vanished into the chaos, leaving no trace. The local police, already on high alert for threats to the Newman family, arrived within minutes, but even they found themselves hamstrung. No clear suspect, guests were scattered, witnesses in shock, offering conflicting accounts. No bullet casings, the assailant had used a suppressor, leaving little forensic evidence. No escape route. Yet no one had seen the shooter slip out, suggesting an inside job or a carefully planned distraction. The official statement from Genoa City Police Chief read, "We are treating this as an attempted assassination. Our top priority is to secure the scene, gather eyewitness testimony, and identify the perpetrator. No arrests have been made at this time." But behind the formal words lay a grim admission: even the combined resources of private security and municipal law enforcement had failed to prevent the attack. 3. Victor's confrontation with Ashland. Moments after the ambulance doors closed, Victor Newman burst into the ballroom, his face contorted with rage. His tailored suit looked incongruous against the backdrop of overturned chairs and scattered hors d'oeuvres. Pushing past stunned guests, he locked eyes on Ashland Locke, who stood near the back, pale and trembling, his dark gaze haunted. "Victor," voice booming, "why the hell would you do this, Ashland?" Ashland swallowed, his jaw clenched. "I didn't mean to." Victor, cutting him off, "Don't lie to me. You orchestrated this, had my daughter shot in front of my eyes. I should shoot you right now." He reached inside his jacket as if to draw a weapon of his own. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Victor, shouting, "Go ahead, shoot me, Ashland. Do it. But don't you dare harm my children again. I swear I will not rest until you're begging for mercy." Ashland's eyes flicked to the entrance, where a cluster of police officers hesitated. He knew the law would protect him for now, but Victor's threat carried a different weight. "Ashland," voice barely audible, "Victor, you don't understand, Victor. Stepping forward, I understand that you betrayed every ounce of trust one ever put in you. You'll pay for this. Before the confrontation could escalate further, a familiar figure intervened, Chance Chancellor, Nikki's son-in-law and a longtime ally of the Newman family. Clad in a dark suit that contrasted with the party's festive attire, Chance moved between Victor and Ashland, his presence calm but firm. Chance, placating Victor, let the police handle this. We need to focus on Victoria, she needs all our support right now. Victor's chest heaved, but Chance's steady gaze and firm hand on his shoulder began to quell the tempest of his fury. Victor, quietly, you're right. But if they can't protect my family, then who can? Chance nodded solemnly. We will. Right now, Victoria needs us more than vengeance. 4. Nikki's desperate prayer. As the ballroom emptied, Nikki clung to her son, Connor, and her daughter, Victoria, now speeding away in the ambulance. Tears stained her cheeks as she whispered a fervent prayer. Nikki, voice trembling, please, God, watch over her. She's too young, too strong. Don't let this be her end. By her side, Victor's usual composure had cracked. He placed a protective arm around Nikki, sharing in her anguish. Victor, hoarse whisper, she's going to make it, Nikki. Nate's a miracle worker. Nikki nodded, though her heart pounded with fear. In that moment, the weight of their shared love for Victoria overshadowed every past grievance and future threat. 5. At the hospital, Vigil. Through the night, the Newman and Chancellor families converged at Genoa City Memorial Hospital's emergency ward. The waiting room buzzed with doctors and nurses exchanging terse updates. Chance, ever the anchor of calm, stood guard at the door to the trauma unit, offering brief reports to a restless Victor and Nikki. Nurse, emerging, she's out of surgery. The bullet missed any major organs. She's stable, but we're keeping her under observation for internal bleeding and infection. Nikki wept openly, dropping to her knees in relief. Victor placed a hand on her shoulder, his own eyes red. Victor, softly, thank God. She's strong, she's a Newman. Connor and Abby Chancellor joined them, their faces etched with worry. Together, they formed a silent circle of support, united by fear and love. 6. The aftermath, vows of protection and retribution. In the days following the shooting, the city of Genoa buzzed with theories and speculation. Media outlets questioned the security lapses, the police investigation churned through witness statements, and social media buzzed with rumors of Aristotle Dumas's involvement, though many suspected that Ashland had used Dumas's name as a convenient smokescreen. Within the walls of Newman Enterprises, Victor convened a high-level security summit. Enhanced protocols. All Newman family events would now require multi-layered security sweeps, undercover operatives, and real-time surveillance. Private task force. Victor authorized a covert team, led by Chance and Nate, to investigate Ashland's connections and to ensure no further threats could materialize. Personal vow. Victor, speaking with cold resolve, declared, no one, no power in Genoa City, will ever threaten my family again. Ashland, Aristotle, whoever you are, I will find you. And I will make you pay. 7. A family united. Though the scars of the night would linger, the shooting forged an unbreakable bond between the Newmans and the Chancellors. At Victoria's bedside, Victor, Nikki, Chance, and Connor took turns holding her hand, sharing stories of her childhood laughter and her unbreakable spirit. Victoria, weakly, when she awoke, Dad. Nate, you saved me. Victor's face softened, tears glistening in his eyes. We'll always protect you, sweetheart. You're our heart. Nikki kissed her forehead. Rest now. We're right here. As Victoria drifted back to sleep, the family stood together, a portrait of resilience. In the war of power and revenge that defined Genoa City, love had proven its ultimate strength. Epilogue. Shadows on the horizon. The shooting at Nikki's birthday party would be remembered as one of the darkest nights in Genoa City history. But from the chaos emerged unwavering loyalty and fierce protection. Victor's fury, Nate's heroism, Chance's calm leadership, and the family's united front sent a clear message: no force, no matter how shadowy, could break the bond of the Newmans and their allies. Yet, as they celebrated Victoria's survival, the question remained: who truly stood behind the assassination attempt? Was it Ashland, driven by vengeance, or a deeper conspiracy involving Aristotle Dumas? The investigation continued, fueled by Victor's relentless determination. In the glittering city of power and secrets, one truth had been made clear: when blood is spilled, the ripples of vengeance and justice can reshape destinies, and only the strongest alliances can withstand the storm.